This week on the Island Times News Update, a crowd packs the Jacksonville Beach Council chambers supporting a skate park. A Neptune Beach property owner has restrictions put on a proposed house, and the train has returned to Jacksonville Beach. Welcome to the Island Times News Update. I'm Tom Patton. The Jacksonville Beach City Council chamber was packed Tuesday night for a vote to select a contractor for the skate park planned at South Beach Park. While the proposal has broad support from the community and the council, a few people, mostly those who live near the park, were opposed to its construction. Concerns were raised about noise, traffic, parking, and the potential for an increase in crime in the neighborhood associated with the skate park. Francis Hewitt was one of the people against converting some of the park into a skateboarding facility.
I don't want the skateboard park down here because I feel like it'll put the peace and quietness of my neighborhood in jeopardy. It is already hard enough to get out of my driveway safely.
But the majority of the people in the chamber were in favor of the park. Proponents said that skating has become a very family-oriented activity, and it offers kids a great opportunity to get out and be active. Mayor Charlie Latham said skateboarding was an activity he enjoyed when he was young.
Every single person that I skateboarded with back in 1973 all the way through college turned out to be pretty good people. There wasn't a crime element, there wasn't a bunch of hoodlums. It was good old-fashioned folks that wanted to have a good time and go out and exercise and enjoy the environment. And so for that, I'm very glad that we're discussing that option for our youth. This is for our kids. This isn't for a X Games destination, as has been already mentioned. This isn't meant to be a destination for all the top skaters in the country to fly into Jax Beach and take our park over. The majority of the skating area will be basic and intermediate with a little bit of advanced, so that the dads and the older folks can do something a little bit more advanced. I can tell you right now, and you'll hear me say this over and over again, I'm going to be opposed to ever putting lights in that park, because I think it's important for us to recognize that Mr. Vogelsang and the others in the area deserve a quiet night with their family and a nice dinner without a bunch of noise going on.
The council voted to award the contract for the construction of the skate park to Team Payne, a skate park design build company based in Orlando. After the vote, Tim Payne, the owner of Team Payne, was asked to give a brief presentation concerning some of his ideas for the design concepts for the park. Payne said that skating has become much more technical and that 10 and 12-foot features were no longer necessary for a good skating experience. The features in the South Beach Park would have lower elevations and a natural flow that would encourage skaters to use the entire facility. The skate park would be designed mostly for beginning and intermediate skaters, but would also have challenging features for advanced skaters. Jay Hood of the company Littlejohn, which is a subcontractor for Team Payne, said that their plan was to incorporate design elements that are unique to the beach, such as lifeguard chairs, sand dunes, and ocean waves. City Manager George Forbes said the skate park would cost about $1 million, all of which would come from dedicated funds from the Community Redevelopment account. Those monies are dedicated for use in the South Jacksonville Beach area. Forbes said the city has already invested $3.5 million in the park. The Neptune Beach City Council has approved construction of a residential dwelling in the Central Business District at 108 Orange Street, but the owners of the property will not be able to build all the house they wanted. The lot is owned by Douglas and Becky Driver. Mr. Driver is in a wheelchair. The lot was surveyed at 50 by 55 feet, and the Drivers wanted to put a 3-story house on the lot that would have been 35 feet tall, which is allowed by the zoning. They also asked for a setback of only 1 foot for the front yard of the house, which would have been on Orange Street. The lot is a block from the ocean. The other homes in the area have no more than 28 feet in height and have larger setbacks. Several of the neighbors came to speak at the meeting to oppose the house, saying the structure would not conform with the rest of the neighborhood, which is also a stipulation in the code. Craig Williams said the house, which was planned for about 5,000 square feet, would far exceed any other house in the neighborhood.
You'd have the largest home on the smallest lot being constructed with, we respectfully submit, with the exception of Mr. Stewart, it's a limited 35-foot height with the highest also residence in the area of the neighborhood.
Susan Beatty said the house would obstruct her view of the ocean.
For 80 years, our family has had a view of the Atlantic Ocean and beach. If 108 Orange Street is built, as they have proposed, I will lose my precious view. Members of the City Council, please consider these concerns and make current Orange Street residents happy and to make Neptune Beach a better place to live and visit.
But property owner Becky Driver said the 35-foot height limit was in the code when they bought the property and had the dilapidated duplex that was there raised. She handed the council a list of things they could legally build on the property, such as a hotel, a restaurant, bar, or office building. She also accused some of the neighbors of spreading lies about the house they wanted to build.
I don't know why this particular neighbor next door, Miss Williams, is her name, when we don't even know her. She has, quote unquote, rallied the troops to come up and fight against us. She has told lies. She has told that property values are going to decline, which we all know that is not true at all. Putting a $700,000–800,000 home on this property is not going to lower anyone's property value at all.
After the period for public comments, the council discussed whether to allow the special exception, which is required to build a residential dwelling in the commercial district. While most were agreeable to accepting the recommendations of the Community Development Board to increase the offsets and keep the house to 28 feet, Vice Mayor Richard Arthur said he was concerned about setting a precedent for future applicants.
If you're in the CBD, residential, commercial, I think that 35 is where it is. Granted, it's a special exception. I wouldn't want to get in a situation where someone determines the highest and best use for that property is an office or veterinary clinic or whatever it is, and miss the opportunity to have a residential in that area.
Councilor Scott Wiley said the decision was a very difficult one.
If you're going to go into that district with a resident, you need to follow some of the guidelines of the resident requirements. If you're going to build a bed and breakfast, you would have certain requirements to meet for bed and breakfast. You would have certain requirements for everything. I think you need to have certain requirements for the residents also.
The council voted 3-2 to approve the special exception, but required the homeowners to have the front of the house on Orange Street, the setback be 5 feet on Midway and 7 feet on Orange, and the house be limited to 28 feet high. Vice Mayor Richard Arthur and Mayor Harriet Pruitt voted against the special exception. The Drivers had said previously they might consider legal action against the city, but the council did not approve the home as it was requested. The Neptune Beach City Council on Wednesday night passed on first read a $4.7 million budget for fiscal year 2016, which begins on October 1st. The city also set the millage rate for the year. The property tax rate is 3.3656 mils, and that's unchanged from last year. City Manager Andy Hyatt said the city staff met with individual members of the council 3 times each in preparing the budget, and they took a very conservative approach.
We do a discussion amongst staff and have staff to provide us with information as far as the department heads with their capital improvements. We don't have a lot of capital expenditures in here. A couple of vehicles and a lawnmower, I believe, are the biggest things we have.
Hyatt said there are no new positions in the budget. The final vote on the millage rate and the budget will be taken September 21st. Atlantic Beach will take its first vote on a budget on Monday at its regular meeting. The commission will also discuss an ordinance banning the sale of dogs and cats that have come from puppy or kitten mills and pet stores, much like the one approved by Jacksonville Beach last month. And they'll talk about a proposed resolution urging Florida to ban the practice of fracking statewide. But when we come back, the train has come back to Jacksonville Beach. This is the Island Times News Update.
Beaches Academy Child Care Center in Jacksonville Beach has been offering affordable, loving child care to families in the Beaches communities for 35 years. Conveniently located on Penman Road, Beaches Academy offers care for children from infants through preschool, with programs that encourage learning and outdoor play. Our affordable tuition means families can get quality childcare at a price that fits their budget. Contact Beaches Academy at 246-3885 and schedule a tour of our center. Beaches Academy, the child always comes first. Charlie's Tropic Heating and Air Conditioning in Atlantic Beach offers a full range of residential and commercial heating and air conditioning services, from new installation to replacement and remodeling. Charlie's Tropic Heating and Air Conditioning can keep your home comfortable year-round, and they offer preventive maintenance contracts to keep your system running at peak efficiency. Charlie's Tropic Heating and Air Conditioning is an authorized Bryant dealer and will service all brands. For year-round comfort in your home or business, contact the original Charlie's Tropic Heating and Air Conditioning at 241-1788.
Welcome back to the Island Times News Update. I'm Tom Patton. Well, the train has come back to the beach at the Beaches Museum and History Park. The exhibit Waiting for the Train opened at the park on Thursday, featuring guided tours, activities for kids, and a working model train display. Beaches Historical Society Executive Director Christine Hoffman says the museums wanted to bring back the display since it was first featured in 2014.
Probably about 6 months ago, we actually gathered a group of volunteers who took that exhibit and really reworked it, brought in some more research and information about Henry Flagler and about the train line that ran through the beaches, and almost created an entirely new exhibit. And not only that, but they brought in a model rail line. So there's an actual model train that's running through the exhibit area to kind of show, especially kids, to give them an interactive look at the train line that ran through the beaches area, and the importance of that to the development of our community.
Bob Birch is a volunteer for the museum and a member of the Toy Train Collectors of Jacksonville.
The museum actually had this exhibit in July or March 2014 or about, and I thought it was a great exhibit, but it was missing one very important item, a real train you could look at, a model train. So once I retired, I started volunteering with the museum, and Chris wanted to do the exhibit on a permanent basis, so it just kind of fell together.
The exhibit will be on permanent display at the History Park. The Jacksonville Beach City Council has approved a pilot program that will allow a 100-foot tall Ferris wheel at Oktoberfest, October 16th to the 18th. City Manager George Forbes said he had concerns about the Ferris wheel that prompted him to ask for the council's guidance before approving the project. He said if the project was successful, he would potentially be approached by other organizations hoping to have a Ferris wheel as an attraction. The ride will be set up on the Thursday before the three-day festival, and Forbes had originally proposed charging the festival organizers $1,000 for an extra setup day in the parking lot of Latham Plaza. Oktoberfest co-founder Josh Woolsey said he hoped the city would not charge the festival for the setup, saying that other groups were allowed to hold their events for free. The council was generally supportive of the idea of a Ferris wheel on the beach, though not on a permanent basis. The Jacksonville Beach Boardwalk had a Ferris wheel, but there are no plans to resurrect that attraction on the oceanfront. Still, the prospect of seeing Jacksonville Beach from 100 feet in the air was attractive to Councilmember Christine Hoffman, who said she planned to ride the ride during the festival. Councilman Bruce Thomason asked about the ability of the Latham Plaza parking lot pavement to support the weight of the Ferris wheel. Forbes said if there was any damage to the pavement, the festival organizers would be required to reimburse the city for repairs. Questions about liability insurance and consumption of alcohol were also adequately addressed by Woolsey. The council approved the pilot project, with council members Keith Doherty and Phil Vogelsang both abstaining. Both are listed as co-founders of the Oktoberfest event, which benefits First Coast No More Homeless Pets. The Neptune Beach Ish Brandt Beautification Committee organized a graffiti cleanup day last Saturday. Committee President Joshua Messenger, Treasurer Chris Gooden, Member Aaron Evans, and others attacked the blight armed with graffiti removal sprays that were provided by the city. In just a few hours, they cleaned up a large swath of First Street and surrounding cross streets, but unfortunately the committee said that within an hour of the IBBC crew moving on, the backs of all 4 stop signs at Bowl Street were retagged with juvenile smiley faces. The Beautification Committee says that according to research, the best way to put a stop to the problem is to report new activity right away. There's no thrill for the painter if no one gets to see the result. And if you'd like to join the next cleanup effort, contact Neptune Beach City Hall at 904-270-2400 and ask to be added to the contact list so you'll be notified of the next time and date. And there will be some new features added to the 4th Annual St. Johns River Ferry Fest set for October 10th. Festivities for this year will feature free ferry rides, all-day music, and a wide selection of food and beverages. The main activities begin at 11 a.m., but final registration for the inaugural Timucuan Treasure Quest will open at 6:30 a.m. at the Heckscher Drive Ferry Landing. The Timucuan Treasure Quest is a 3-stage, team-oriented adventure scavenger challenge that begins inside the perimeter of the Heckscher Drive Ferry Landing. You can find out more by visiting Friends of the Ferry at www.friendsoftheferry.com. Well, the National Weather Service says we can expect a good chance of thunderstorms on Saturday, but then cooler for Sunday and into next week. The chance of rain is 60% Saturday and 70% Saturday night, but highs next week will be in the low 80s. You can check the Island Times for a daily forecast specifically for the beach, and if you like, I'll even read you the forecast in our podcast. The Island Times is always digital, always free, at www.theislandtimes.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter to be the first to know about stories posted to the Island Times. I'm Tom Patton. Thanks for watching.